What's going on, family? Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Part 2, 1940, Boxing History. Now, in 1939, Joe Louis would defend his title against two-ton Tony Galento. Tony Galento was from New Jersey. Although he was a little heavy and short in stature, but he carried a wallop. His phenomenal fighter, ballroom brawler, was Tony Galento. Joe Louis and Tony Galento would get it on in 1939. And Joe Louis would knock out Tony Galento in 4 rounds. It was a bar burner. Joe Louis went down himself, but he would get up like a true champion, taking Tony Galento for granted. And he hit him with a bodacious left hook. Referee Arthur Donovan had no choice but to step in. Joe Louis was on the rise. He had what was called the Bum of the Month Club. Tony Galento was no bum. He showed that he can fight inside and out. But Joe Louis, fantastic puncher, the Brown Bomber, was here to stay. Here you have Arthur Donovan, referee. Tony Galento decks Joe Louis. Joe Louis goes down. But he was surprised. Surprised Louis on the canvas after a hard left from Galento. But Joe Louis would get up and show what a true champion is made of. Joe Louis being held back by referee Arthur Donovan as he looks down at the fallen foe. Tony Galento looks up at the great Brown Bomber. Cannot believe what just happened to him. He said after the fight, Joe Louis was the hardest puncher that he had ever faced. Salute to Joe Louis. Joe Louis would eventually get in with Bar Pastor. And Joe Louis would have it out. Madison Square Garden. Two-ton Tony Galento. Joe Louis, as he knocks out Max Schmeling in 1938, breaking his ribs, well, Max Schmeling would have a sciatic reaction. In fact, he had to wear a neck brace for 6 months. The Brown Bomber, unbelievable body puncher. Famous quote, kill the body and the head to die. Max Schmeling was holding on the ropes for dear life, praying another punch was not thrown. But Joe Louis remembered what was done to him. 1936. 37 straight right hands had ended the Joe Louis winning streak. And there was no way that Joe Louis was going to allow Max Schmeling off those ropes without doing superior damage. And that he did in the very first round. 1938. Although champion, he didn't feel like a champion until he knocked out Max Schmeling. Joe Louis was called to the White House and told, we need these muscles for Germany. Joe Louis and Bob Pastor gets it on in Madison Square Garden. Friday, January 29th, 1937. Bar Pastor, Joe Louis, Madison Square Garden. Joe Louis, one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. Salute. Joe Louis and Tommy Farr. Joe Louis's first title defense, 1937. 15 rounds. Joe Louis, after the beating he took in 1936, had his eye on Max Schmeling. Perhaps one of the greatest trainers, a phenomenal lightweight. Fought Sam Langford 5 times. Jack Blackburn. Jack Blackburn would unfortunately pass away April 24th, 1942 in Chicago. He was a phenomenal fighter and an outstanding trainer. He would carry the Brown Bomber as far as he could. And Joe Louis would last until 1949 as heavyweight champion. He would retire in 1951. Salute to Jack Blackburn. Jack Blackburn, nicknamed Chappie, said to Joe Louis, "I don't know if I can go up and down the ropes more than one round. I have to bring in Manny Seaman." And a newspaper editor that was involved with Joe Louis's camp, his name was Jimmy Cannon. He asked Joe Louis, "How many rounds are you going to go today, Joe?" And Joe Louis was getting his hands wrapped by Jack Blackburn. And with one thumb, he raised it up and said 1 round. Joe Louis knew the score, and he knew the mission. And he knocks out Max Schmeling in 1 astonishing round. That's what champions are made of. Max Schmeling spends 10 days in a hospital. Spine injury. New York, June 23rd. Battered senseless by the champion Joe Louis. Barrage of punches in their heavyweight title fight. Last night, Max Schmeling will be confined to Plani Clinic Hospital. 10 days. Joe Jacobs, American manager, announced in the afternoon. Beautiful right uppercut right to the ribs. This is the proper way to throw a body punch. Joe Louis was the greatest body puncher in history. Short punches. He never moved his hands when he threw the punch. That is the proper way to throw a body punch. And it will send your opponent to the hospital every time. Here you have Joe Louis taking a look at the fallen foe. Max Schmeling. He falls as though he fell out of a treehouse as a kid. Unbelievable. Joe Louis. My favorite heavyweight of all times. May 23rd, 1941. Joe Louis gets it on with Buddy Bear, Max Bear's younger brother. Joe Louis enlisted in the military. Little did he know, this is where his problems would begin. Financial problems, that is. Joe Louis attacks Buddy Bear in a rematch, and he would knock him out in one round. Buddy Bear would be forced to do a 360 because his mind and his body were separated, and he thought he was figure skating in the ice rink. Joe Louis fights Abe Simon. Between Buddy Bear and Abe Simon, Joe Louis would donate his entire purse to the Army and Navy Relief. The Chicago Sun. Joe Louis prepares for Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is a slick boxer, phenomenal fighter. Billy Gunn to your right, Joe Louis to the left. Billy Gunn was a fantastic fighter, phenomenal light heavyweight. He would get in there with the brown bomber. World title. In his grasp, Khan commits ring suicide. He tries to slug with the brown bomber Joe Louis. And after being ahead on the scorecards, Joe Louis found an opening, opened up and did a 6-punch combination. One of the greatest combination punches. Period. Featherweight or heavyweight, Joe Louis. Textbook. Joe Louis takes a look at Billy Gunn as the referee begins to count. Now this fight would be ring announcer Don Dunphy's first radio call. And it was a beauty. You couldn't ask for a better fight. This fight was on radio. And you would have to go, if you lived in Harlem on 149th Street, the RKO movie theater. You would have a double line going around the block, waiting to see the Joe Louis fights. They would show it at the RKO movie theater the following day. And this is where you saw Joe Louis and Billy Gunn, if you didn't have tickets to the fight. Outstanding. Joe Louis's beautiful wife, Marva Travis. Marva Travis was a model. And they would have their daughter, Jackie Louis. Eventually, Jackie and Joe Louis's son would be well off, financially fine. But Marva and Joe would separate. May 25th, 1942. Charlie Berry, Pittsburgh phenomenon, Black Murderers Row, would face a Cleveland, Ohio phenomenon by the name of Ezzy Charles. October 2nd, 1942, Ray Robinson defeats Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta was in the Diamond Gloves in the light heavyweight division in 1939. Sugar Ray Robinson was in the New York Golden Gloves in the featherweight division in 1939. And these two men would have a total of 6 fights. They would have 5 fights before champion, and 1 fight when Jake LaMotta was the middleweight champion of the world, 1951. But here you see Jake LaMotta putting it on Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson goes out of the ring. Ray Robinson will win a unanimous decision over Jake LaMotta. October 2nd, 1942. May 25th, 1942. Ezzy Charles defeats Joey Maxim 10 rounds in Pittsburgh. This would not be the first time these two men would meet. Ezzy Charles, Cincinnati Cobra, faces Joey Maxim, future light heavyweight champion. November 20th, 1942, Willie Pep, just 20 years of age, defeats Chalky Wright 5 rounds, New York, to win the featherweight championship of the world. Chalky Wright was a phenomenal fighter, Mexican descent. And Willie Pep would defeat Chalky Wright and become the brand new featherweight champion. November 20th, 1942. And just 62 fights, Willie Pep would eventually lose the former NBA lightweight champion, Sammy Angot. And that would hurt Willie Pep's winning streak of 62-0. Now Willie Pep set to meet Chalky Wright. This is June 8th, 1943. Now we went over that fight already. Willie Pep would defeat Chalky Wright and become the featherweight champion of the world. Now Willie Pep beats Chalky Wright to capture the title. November 20th, 1942. Willie Pep, youthful Hartford battler, won his 54th consecutive fight, and with it, the featherweight title, as he took a 15-round decision from Chalky Wright at the Garden last night. Pep, who hasn't lost a fight since he turned professional in 1940, which was the same year as Sugar Ray Robinson, and Henry Armstrong would lose his title to Fizzy Zivit, becomes the 3rd Hartford, Connecticut fighter to wear the featherweight crown, duplicating the feats of Kid Kaplan and Bat Battleino. Wright weighed 125 3/4 pounds, Pep a quarter pound less. Fascinating. Sugar Ray Robinson defeats Jake LaMotta on points. October 2nd, 1942, the unbeaten welterweight gains 36 victories in 10 rounds. It was the bout at Madison Square Garden. Semifinal thrills fans. Bojack takes verdict over Rico. Ray Robinson's Harlem undefeated welterweight gains the division or decision over Jake LaMotta Bronx middleweight, in their 10-round main event at Madison Square Garden. This fight took place last night. It was 36 victories and as many bouts for Ray Robinson in his professional boxing career. The battle drew a crowd of 15,000 to the arena. Robinson at 145 spotted his opponent more than 12 pounds. Lamar weighing at 157 3/4 pounds. The referee was Frank Fulham.
Everybody, it's Billie Jean, right here.